Today, we're talking about lighting. If you want your architectural renders to look better, whether you're using D5, Enscape, Lumion, V-Ray, or the Unreal Engine, you need to learn how to properly light your scene. In this video, I'm going to go through my personal lighting workflow that will massively improve your designs and renderings, no matter what program you're using. After watching this, I'm confident you'll be lighting your projects faster and at much higher quality. By the way, I'm Nathaniel. I'm the creator of digitalspaces.io, a trained architect who has spent the last 10 years visualizing over 100 million square feet of real estate. Digitalspaces.io is a web platform to create and share interactive walkthroughs of your designs. All right, let's light this up. The first step is to gather reference images and to create a mood board. Before we do anything in 3D, we need a plan for what you're going to create and what that might look like. Reference images are your roadmap. They'll inform what the lighting is supposed to look like. This stops the guessing and allows you to light a scene with confidence, ultimately leading to a massive improvement in your setup time and quality. Start by searching on Google for your project's site and surrounding area. Get photos of the town or neighborhood and analyze the sky, the clouds, the atmosphere, even the site orientation. Look up similar property types on ArcDaily, Pinterest, or Instagram from around the world. Analyze the interior fixtures and look at the balance between the natural and artificial light, and pay close attention to the color temperature. This is what gives lighting its emotional tone. Let your reference images guide the tone you're aiming for. Use a real-time whiteboard like Miro to organize these ideas into a mood board. As you light your project, always keep this mood board on your screen, or at least reference it as much as possible. Now that your references are organized, you're ready to move into 3D. But 3D rendering can be complicated. There are many settings to tweak and elements to manage. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed or get yourself stuck. We can simplify things by organizing our scene into 3 main categories: materials, cameras, and lights. The best method I found is to isolate 2 of those categories and just focus on the light. Materials are a huge distraction. You can remove them by applying a white material override to your entire scene. For the camera, disable auto exposure and turn off any post-process effects like contrast or color correction. These may not be on by default, but it's always good to double check. Once your scene is stripped down, now you're actually ready to start lighting. We build our light in layers, one at a time. Think of lighting a scene like tuning a guitar. You don't strum all the strings at once and hope for the best. You tune each string individually. Only when each string is tuned can you play a chord that actually sounds good. Lighting works the same way. We start with everything off and bring in light one at a time, beginning with the brightest, the natural light, and then moving down to our main lights, our fill lights, and our accent lights. Each layer adds complexity and realism, and only when they're working together does the scene come alive. The sun and the sky are the foundation to the light around us. The sun casts hard shadows with direct, full-spectrum light, close to white at midday. But the atmosphere softens that light and adds color, which is where the color temperature comes from. Midday sun sits high overhead and creates short, harsh shadows with cooler, bluer tones around 5,500 Kelvin. This works especially well for interiors that are white or bluish in color. When the sun rises in the east or sets in the west, its low angle creates long, dramatic shadows with warm, orange hues around 3,000 Kelvin. Perfect for dramatic golden hour scenes. The more clouds or particles in the air, the more diffused and soft the sunlight becomes. Shadows lose their sharp edges and contrast drops, which can be ideal for creating soft, atmospheric environments. There are 2 main types of environment lighting: a daylight system, and an HDRI. Daylight systems are flexible. You can control the sun angle, time of day, and even the geographic location. While they're realistic for the sun's position, they can sometimes feel artificial because they're trying to simulate the entire real world. HDRIs, on the other hand, are incredibly realistic since they're based on real-world photography of skies and lighting. The trade-off? You're locked into that time of day, weather, and light direction from the location the photo is from. And finding the right one can take time, especially when you're scrolling through hundreds to get the perfect match. We shape our artificial light with realism. There are three main light types in architectural rendering: point lights, spotlights, and rectangular lights, each with a specific purpose. Point lights, also called sphere lights, emit light evenly in all directions, just like a regular bulb. They're ideal for simple fixtures like lamps, pendants, or globes. Spotlights emit a focused cone of light, ideal for recessed downlights, track lighting, or task lights. Use them when you want directional lighting with fall-off. For extra realism, you can use IES profiles to match the exact pattern of a real-world fixture. Rectangular lights emit a broad, even wash of light, perfect for linear lighting like under-cabinet LEDs, fluorescent office lights, or large light panels. They're ideal when you want diffused, area-based lighting, rather than a concentrated beam. When it comes to positioning lights, there's a bit of a Goldilocks zone. Placing a light too far from the fixture can break the illusion. Shadows won't line up, and the scene can feel disconnected. But placing it inside the geometry can cause rendering issues, slowdowns, or weird artifacts. The sweet spot is just outside the fixture. It's fast to render, easy to control, and still looks like the light is coming from the object itself. The same goes for light size. Oversized rectangular lights can flatten your scene or wash out contrast. Keep them tight, believable, and matched to the shape of the real-world fixture. Good lighting is all about balance, and smart placement is what sells the realism. Artificial lights also have color. The best way to color them is through color temperature. Stick to ranges between 3000 Kelvin and 6000 Kelvin. Use contrast and mix and match the colors. While task lighting may be cool, accent lighting may be warm. If you want to match the real world more easily, I've added RGB values to the most common color temperatures in the video description. I've also included a downloadable link to my 5 most used IES profiles. I use these on about 95% of projects. They're exactly what your spotlights need to look realistic. When you're lighting your scene, start by adjusting the sun's position until you get a time of day that matches your mood. If you can, find an HDRI that matches it. Then, manually adjust your exposure to bring balance. Remember, we turned off auto exposure on the last step, so you're in full control. If your scene is exterior, you might have to lower your exposure as the sun is so bright. If you're doing an interior, you might have to raise your exposure as the sun on the interior is less bright. Remember, don't touch the sun's intensity. You can't dim the sun in real life, so don't fake it in 3D. Exposure is where you should be making your lighting adjustments for the natural light. And we lock in exposure here as well for the rest of the image. And this sets your base lighting. So now let's turn that off and turn on our main lights. Main lights are usually your recessed cans or linear ceiling lights, the ones that fill the room with that general illumination. Once your main lights are set, turn them off, and now we're going to build up our fill lights. Fill lights are often chandeliers or pendants. They don't light the whole room, but they bring presence and shape to the area that they're needed. Once those lights are set, turn them off, and now we're going to build our accent lights. Accent lights are your lamps, wall sconces, or LEDs. They add warmth, depth, and detailed focus. Once all of your lights are in place and adjusted individually, you can now turn everything on together. This is when the scene really starts to come alive. And it's okay if things still aren't perfect. Lighting always needs tweaking, even if it's between shot to shot. But now you're working with clarity and control. At this point, you can even turn your materials back on. And here's the best part. Because you've already dialed in the lighting, any problems you see now are likely coming from the materials themselves, not the lighting. That separation makes it easier to troubleshoot and fine-tune your final render. And that's it. Now your lighting is done. So let's wrap this all up and recap. No matter what type of project you're doing or what program you're in, this process stays the same. You're going to start by gathering real-world references and creating a mood board. Then you'll turn everything off into 3D, including your materials, your camera settings, and your lights. And then you're going to build your light in layers, starting from the brightest to the dimmest. We start with a natural light, with a daylight system or an HDRI, and you set your exposure. Then you build your artificial lights with your main lights, fill lights, and accent lights. Use IES profiles for extra realism and stick to natural color temperatures between 3000 and 6500 Kelvin for your light color. If you follow this approach, you'll light your scenes faster with more confidence and get a better final result every time. And once your scene is perfectly lit, you can bring it into digitalspaces.io to create an interactive walkthrough and actually explore your design from any device. I'm Nathaniel from digitalspaces.io. Thanks for watching, and check out the platform if you want to share your vision with your clients, colleagues, or the world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.